So how do you do it? How do you get from a totally normal photo of yourself and, poof, turn it into a unique, stylized cartoon character? This isn't just some cheap filter, right? This is a whole new creation, and we're going to break down exactly how that magic trick works.
Well, that whole transformation, that's all thanks to something called generative AI. See, the key word here is generate. It's not just tweaking a photo, it's creating something brand new from scratch. This ability is what separates it from everything that came before, and it's the exact same tech that has absolutely exploded into the mainstream.
Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking this AI stuff just popped up out of nowhere, but the idea itself, it's been kicking around since the 1950s. For decades, though, it was mostly just theory. Then, boom, 2016 happens. AlphaGo in AI beats the world's best Go player, a game that's all about creativity and intuition. That was a shock. But the real big bang, the moment everything changed for us, was 2022. That's when tools like Midjourney and Chat GPT put this insane power right into our hands.
Okay, so with all this hype, there's a ton of confusion, right? We're hearing all these terms thrown around. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, and now generative AI. What's the deal? Are they all the same thing? Not exactly. And, figuring out the difference is actually the key to using these tools well.
Let's break it down with a simple analogy. Imagine you're grading exams. In the beginning, you had basic AI. That's where a human literally writes the rules. If the score is over 80, then the grade is A. Simple. Then things got smarter with machine learning. Here, you stop writing rules. Instead, you feed the computer thousands of already graded exams, and it figures out the patterns for itself. Deep learning is basically that, but on steroids, using a structure kind of like a human brain to spot super complex stuff, like a face in a crowd. And that leads us to the main event, generative AI. This is the game changer. It doesn't just find patterns or grade things, it creates. It writes the essay. It draws that cartoon.
So when you boil it all down, you've really got two main flavors of AI today. On one side, there's predictive AI. Its whole job is to look at a pile of old data and give you one single correct answer. Is this email spam? Yes or no? On the other side, you've got generative AI. Its job is to create a whole bunch of new possibilities. Give me 3 different ad slogans. Make me a picture of an astronaut riding a horse. It's the difference between judging something that exists and creating something that doesn't.
Now, because this creative power is so incredible, this really hopeful idea started to spread like wildfire. A big promise, really. The idea that generative AI would be the great equalizer, that it would finally close the skill gap, letting a total beginner perform just like an expert in coding, in art, in pretty much anything.
But what if that's completely wrong? What if all the latest research is pointing to the exact opposite conclusion? This is where it gets really, really interesting. Because the common wisdom, the thing we all kind of hoped was true, is being totally challenged by the data.
So check this out. This chart lays it all out, and it's pretty surprising. You take a novice and you give them generative AI. Okay, they get better. You see a nice little bump in their performance. But now, look at the expert. You give them the exact same tool and their performance goes through the roof. It is a massive jump. So the end result? Instead of closing the gap, generative AI is actually making it wider.
So why? Why is this happening? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Generative AI is a tool, not a magic wand. It's not a replacement for real knowledge. To get great results, you have to know what to ask for, and just as important, how to ask for it. You need those core skills to steer the AI. You want to make that amazing cartoon we saw? It helps a lot if you already know something about art, about composition, about what looks good. The AI amplifies your expertise. It doesn't just create it out of thin air.
And this means we really need to change how we think about this tech. It's not an autopilot you can just switch on and take a nap. Think of it as your co-pilot. It's there to assist you, the skilled operator, to help you get things done way faster and better than you could alone. But you're still the one flying the plane.
Which leaves us with one big final question. If AI is your co-pilot, then the most important thing you can do isn't just learning the tool itself, but becoming a master of your own craft. So the real question is, are you ready to be the expert pilot?